Sebastion Gorka was back into the news to remind us of the clown and clown fascism that runs this country. He was having a debate on News 8, which I actually have literally never heard of. And he was debating Democratic strategist Joel Payne. And Gorka had not only, of course, a defense of the disgusting, bloated fascist regime and its terrorism of immigrants, but in his uniquely, I'll say, special manner, Gorka had the most ingenious defense of the Trump immigration policy imaginable.
Jonathan. I was about to give a brilliant answer, but go.
I'm sure we'll get to it. First things first, I find it weird your guest has a problem that I work for the president. To quote a certain senator from Illinois, elections have consequences. That's how this democratic republic works. As to the concern, the humanitarian concern of this president, I don't think anybody on the panel has actually worked for the president. I have. I worked for him as candidate Trump, and I worked for him in the White House. And I know this may be hard for the left to believe because they're trapped in their ideological bubble. He is one of the most compassionate presidents we have ever had. Whether it's inviting the survivors and the victims of the Parkland to the White House to listen to them and to talk to them, or whether it is being compassionate for the immigrants that are here legally who are most undermined by illegal immigrants. If you're at the bottom of the pay scale in America as a manual laborer who's recently arrived as an immigrant, guess who you are hurt by the most? Illegal immigrants who are going to come in and take your job with cash under the table. This president wants to protect those people irrespective of their skin color, irrespective of where they came from, and irrespective of whether they voted for him. That's who Donald Trump is.
Sebastion, you want to talk to me about compassion? Talk to me about this. When this president decides to prioritize putting these children back with their families, you can talk to me about compassion. Until then, I don't want to hear anything about Donald Trump.
You don't get
because
to tell
the proof's
me what
in the
I don't
pudding.
get to say in America. I know you have.
I did no such thing. I believe the people here on the panel can verify that. I didn't do such thing.
And you don't get to shut me down. If Jonathan wants to,
I did no
that's
such
his
thing.
If that's his
But I think you're proving my point that I made a little bit earlier. So thank
explain this to me.
Yes.
When the president wants to actually give status to double the number of DACA recipients that was originally planned. And
he had a bill in front of him, Sebastion. He could have signed it.
Refused.
Were you in his ear telling him to sign it?
Why did they do that?
Because he had an opportunity to sign it.
Why did the
By the way, not a Democratic bill, not a liberal
Why
bill.
did the
He had a bill that he
Democrats
said he would sign.
You have no
Show
answer,
me.
right? You have no
Show
answer.
me. The president should go visit Missouri. He should show me. Show me that this president cares about this. He doesn't. This is a political issue for him.
Don't let the
and he has people like you in his ear, and that's the problem. That's why people don't trust what they hear on TV.
Over facts.
All right, I'm going to have to cut it off right.
Joel Payne did a great job there, actually, and it was really impressive to watch Joel Payne do that, because obviously as much of a joke and an idiot as Sebastion Gorka is, he's a main, disseminator of propaganda and dishonesty for the Trump regime. Of course, he's lying on multiple levels there. DACA could have just gone forward. Trump blew it up to
use it as a bargaining chip
and feed his xenophobic, racist base. There was a bill that he did commit to sign. Of course, he has no idea what's in the bill, and he can be manipulated by his racist advisors on these issues. And yes, this is primarily a political issue. And also the notion people who come in to have jobs in orchards and slaughterhouses where they're underpaid and abused and exploited, they're bribing or somehow passing money under the table to get those jobs. No, they're cheap labor that can be easily abused and discarded because the companies are never held accountable. So, of course, companies are going to continue to access and exploit that labor. And yes, maybe Trump's answer is he wants Americans to do that labor because he wants to, as he himself said several times himself, wages in this country are too high, even at a time of completely historically unparalleled inequality. If you buy into any of this and you run any interference for any of this, you're innately an asshole and inhumane, as Joe Rogan said yesterday. If you defend any part of the kidnapping and extortion, you're a outside of the realm, immoral, disgusting person. And on top of that, if you are worried in any type of good faith way about the policy of what drags wages down, always look at the companies dragging wages down. Always look
deciding
at
wages.
Literally deciding wages with no governmental setting or policy making to protect them.
Yeah.
It is never people coming in here, documented, undocumented, or otherwise. It's pure racism and xenophobia. And to the extent to which they have economic plans for you, it's to make your life shorter, make you have less money, and work until you literally physically give out.
Yeah, and also look at the system that is incentivizing them to do that. Like, yes, the heads of the corporations are probably greedy and shitty people, and they're
it's
probably
structural.
terrible.
It's nothing to do with them as persons.
They have been
It's
incentivized,
the market.
yes, by the market, by unfettered capitalism, to behave in this way. So
It's
more
logical for them to
I
behave
hate
in
to
this way.
sound like a broken record, but this really does go back to this particular economic system that we have, and it doesn't have to be this way.
Richard from